Good evening, Final Fantasy Randomizer fans, and welcome to what is probably the biggest race of the tournament so far. We've got the play-in race for the Final Fantasy Spring Randomizer 2020 tournament, and I'm joined in the comms booth by Karan. How you doing today?
I'm doing well. Good evening, everybody. It is great to be here for what is going to be, I'm sure, a very exciting play-in race.
And right now we can already see kind of a big diversity of strategies so far. We got a lot of black magic on the bottom half. Salty Fry going with the black belt strats, and Hangry is just going to 3-man it. So pretty different strategies so far. Which ones do you like?
Well, I have to say I am intrigued by Hangry's because obviously he's going to have the advantage of being able to level up his 3-party members a lot faster from the outset. And of course, if the magic rolls pretty well on the black magic side, certainly in the early levels of spells, he may very well have something of an advantage because he's going to get charges a lot faster. Now the question is that going to counterbalance against Danny's strategy of red, red, black, or Gouda's of red, black, black?
And of course, all of this could be rendered moot by, say, level 1 Fade. That's white magic locked, but we'll see about that.
Well, if that is indeed the case, we may have some very salty runners, shall we say, at the very beginning, which, if it's Salty Fry, then I guess it would fit. But the rest of them, maybe not so much.
Yeah, it's interesting, Salty going with the black belt strats. If he can execute this, I think he's pretty safe to finish somewhere in the middle of the pack, so I think this is kind of a calculated risk on his part.
Yeah, and it is, of course, worth noting to everybody in the audience, this is the play-in race wherein the top 8 finishers will make it into the bracket, so it's not like last week's Last Chance qualifier where you're looking at one or done. It is, if you are in the top half, then you have made it into the bracket stages. It is definitely going to be very interesting, though. I do like the diversity of all these different choices we have here. It'll make for a nice dynamic race from our end, and I think it'll make it a lot of fun to commentate.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see if anybody is going, let's say, Thief first, or there's a lot of different options you can have in this, but yeah, we've got I think 15 total runners, and the top 8 make it. So, and I think any single one of these could definitely take the overall race. So this is going to be a real interesting finish. And it's going to be hard to see some of these folks go home, but it's the nature of the...
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this field just overall has been very strong, and I mean, because we had 70-plus runners start out this field at the beginning of the tournament, and now we are making our way to the best of the best. So it's been quite the journey so far. I'm looking forward to it continuing in fine fashion tonight.
Alright, we've got everybody synced up, and we're ready to go.
I see folks in chat are already giving some predictions as to how this may result. It'll be interesting to see if any of those predictions end up working out, especially I'm kind of tempted with Adversary's suggestion. I don't know whether I would enjoy that or simply cringe on behalf of the runners. Probably a little bit of both, to be honest.
Well, I mean, if that happens, kind of a big advantage for Salty then. There's going to be enough magic that should get you through the early levels pretty reasonably. And then the rest of them, you just punch to 42.
Nuke at level 1, black magic, and exit and Wall at level 1 in White Magic, so we're already off to a blazing start.
Yeah, but unfortunately, Exit is White Mage locked, and it looks like everybody's just taking the chance that they're not going to need it. If we have a real nasty marsh cave, an Exit on a White Mage could save people, 3 or 4 minutes easy.
It looks like the big magic strat seems to be paying off, at least early on. We have, it seems, Salty and Gouda are heading up to, well, pretty much everybody's heading up toward Topher, but Danny is still in the process of acquiring items before she makes her journey up there.
We got imps with Sleep Touch, and Sleep Touch is pretty scary in the beginning of the game because you are not guaranteed to wake up immediately when you have less than 80 health.
Alright, so everybody has made their way into Topher at this point, and they're all essentially doing some chest checking and running into, of course, the various and sundry fiends located therein.
Yep. See the cabin, just sitting out there, and everybody on pretty much the same encounter table. Angry and a little bit of trouble here.
Uh-oh. Yeah. Oh boy, yeah, those creeps are not doing fun things with him. Barely able to squeeze it out, though.
Yeah, but now he's gonna hope to go first. Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
But the good news is, if he makes it to the top left, we've seen that there's some big money awaiting him.
Yeah, and that's critical to get. The 1903, not bad. The 34 is enough to get you through the first 3 towns. Anything that you would want, short of a gold bracelet or a steel armor.
Right. I see Danny has triumphed over Garland. Looks like as has Salty Fry. Danny gets the herb from the king and the floater from Sarah, so oh dear. We're halfway to flying already.
Yeah, it's just a matter of where's that canoe gonna show up?
The runners, I would assume, have this foremost in their minds. Where is that canoe? If they can find it, then their mobility increases really quickly.
Yeah, so I think this is one of those times where you just chase down as many of the incentives as possible up front. Lock 2 also at level 1, which feels kind of bad, but regular Lock does the job just as well.
Well, I know, at least myself as a runner, I tend to key in when I see Lock 2 there, but you're right, Lock is just as effective, and certainly if you have it available early on, then you definitely want to grab it.
Alright, so all of the runners on screen now with their urban floater. So they have 1 turn in the Canaria area, in the Elfland area, and then the pirates in Provoca. And Nuke's pretty good at killing pirates, or so I've heard.
Yeah, it does a decent job, I mean, maybe they could look for something better, but Nuke will suffice for the time being. Meanwhile, it looks like we have the sexiest part of any seed, stocking up on all the items.
Yeah, imagine how much fun this was before the Buy 10 hack got added.
Oh god, no, let's not contemplate that travesty, please, no. I think I might get a few more gray hairs just thinking about that. And trust me, I've got plenty already.
I just wonder how many weeks of Geyer's life were lost to the lack of a Buy 10 option.
Oh dear. That's something that maybe we can contemplate another time when our brain power is not spent trying to keep up with the race.
Yeah, no math on Twitch. Level 2 we have.
Oh,
we have Life 2, so who went for Red Mages?
Yeah, exactly. Life 2 at level 2 and fast at level 2. Heavens to Betsy.
Alright, so not only is Life 2 Red Mage learnable, but it is also Knight learnable as well. So as long as anyone survives a boss fight, anybody can get picked back up. And in a lot of these parties, and yeah, that's gonna be very, very important in Teflon.
Oh yes. I also think we're probably going to see some pretty high power stats, or not stats, but strategies early on, just because. Oh, hello, Oxyale. Just because we've got so much power floating around and so much durability.
So yeah, Hangry and Salty picking up the chime, and then the Oxyel for sale. Definitely within everyone's budget at this point.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's very reasonable right now.
Also of note, houses at 880, pretty solidly available.
Yeah. Chat pointing out, and something I was actually just about to mention, I don't think Hangry talked to Bicky.
Oh no.
Now, it is somewhat fortunate in that he is getting, that is the chime, so he doesn't technically need it right now, but it can be a rough thing to try to go back and remember if you're doing all your mental checks for those key items later on in the game.
Yeah, that's gonna be pretty ugly for sure.
Yeah. Also, Drosy, to answer you in chat, there was a $34,000 chest in the top left of Temple of Fiends, so they are running around basically rolling in the money right now.
So the only way this turns out to help Hangry is if a trip to Sky looks like a real good play, and Hangry is blocked from doing that.
Yeah.
And Sky turns out to be a huge bust. So
yeah. Also worth noting, Hangry is doing a pop grind, it would appear, so he's going to try to get some of those levels, probably for some more spell casts.
yeah, I think he's also trying to get that lead Black Mage killed as well, but it's just not happening.
Uh-oh. Gouda picks up a canal over in Matoya's, and Salty Fry is about to do the same.
Okay, so that is our exit out of the Inner Sea early, but it also gives us the check at Crescent Lake as well. But I think I would turn in the herb first.
Oh yes, yeah, definitely do the proximity checks first, because it's not too much of a step to go to Elfin and just go ahead and have a chat with the Prince, and then pop up and go into the Outer Sea area. But it would seem Gouda is eschewing that, and he is going to go ahead and make his exit from the Inner Sea, it looks like.
He could be doing the southern route
Canal,
as well.
So she now has her availability to basically sail wherever she wishes.
It looks like Gouda might be doing the southern route, going to Elfland through the southern dock and then the Crescent Lake, which is something that I like, but I've gotten burned enough by finding, say, the crystal here, that it feels real bad and I don't do it anymore. I think most of the time this is the cleanest play, though.
Alright, looks like Gouda made his way into... Oh dear, made his way to turn in his herb, and he got the canoe, so... we are looking at being airborne very quickly.
Off to the races, everybody. And it's funny, during a practice race earlier today, Bratster told me, you know, I just hope that there's nothing too complicated about this seed, that it's just, you know, like, level 1 nuke jet seed, well, you got your wish. And hey, there's Fate at level 3.
Yep, and Lit 3 was level 3 on the Black Magic side as well.
So anybody that re-rolled into White Mage is probably very happy by finding Fate at that slot.
Oh, absolutely.
And let's see what we have at 4. Oh, there's Warp. Okay, we're fine. Everyone is fine.
Well, this is definitely working out to be a very good magic seed, just about all around in a lot of ways. Meanwhile, Hangry Canuck really wants those levels as the pop grind continues. Let me see, Gouda sailing around. Looks like I think Gouda was sailing around the southern end of the main continent to try to get to Floaterland. And yeah, that's what it looks like it is. All right, so it appears that Gouda is likely going to be the first of our racers airborne.
Yeah, Gouda moving at a pretty good clip here, but I imagine we're going to have most of the field in the air at about the 15-minute mark.
Oh yes, I think everybody else is just doing a lot of magic and item prep. Meanwhile,
Gouda's got to go fast. He doesn't even want any of the magic here.
Yeah, at least not yet. And looks like we have a shiny stone to hand to a giant.
That's a real convenient check to make. You can knock out both of those locations just with one trip to the right there.
Oh yeah. And it looks like that's what he's going for. Oh yeah, pulls pretty much right up to Sarda's basement.
Yeah, I also like the routing there, not taking any chances sailing over the ocean and just using the landmass as a guide. Picks up a slab.
Well, I mean, he's real close to Melman, so... And chat mentioning that Hangry did in fact remember to talk to Vicky, so he now has his chime.
Alright, he also has kind of a level advantage. That might come into play if some of the traditional level spots seem to be more difficult, or if, say, an Ordeals or a Waterfall prove to be difficult at low levels.
Yeah, we'll see if it pays off. It's definitely an interesting strategy. I mean, you can tell that he's going for a more aggressive approach because, I mean, he knows just as well as everybody else in the race that, you know, if you're not in the top 8, then out you go.
I kind of feel like a more aggressive approach as Gouda finds the TNT in Titans. A more aggressive approach would be to get your levels off of, say, a grind tile like the first floor of Earth, and then do some checks along with that. Peninsula Power is pretty good, but a lot of times with the B-side trap tiles, you can find something better if grinding is the thing that you decide to do.
Right. And Gouda's taking his prizes into Earth Cave. I don't see a rod anywhere around here, but it looks like he's primarily checking out... Yeah, he's checking out trap tiles.
Yeah, if you find a bunch of ice, for instance, that is the route to 15, and then you don't really need to take any more grinds on the way through. But yeah, just a bunch of ogres. It's ambush. Alright, so Danny picks up her ruby. And we're getting a little buffering, but it should be straightened out by now.
Yeah, it's been a little bit of choppiness on this end, but nothing too bad. Alright, Salty Fry checking out that level 5 magic in Melman, and I saw in Viz 2 on the white magic side.
And life also available at level 4, so you can never have too many of those charges.
Right.
It's pretty good for picking up a thief right before a boss fight and just leaving them at 1 HP.
And I noticed that Salty Fry went ahead and translated that slab just to make sure, and I can understand why you'd want to do that, because that's the sort of thing that's fairly easy to forget, especially if you're in the middle of a race and your brain is going about 10 different directions. You just want to go ahead and get that taken care of.
Alright, Hangry, with all of his extra money, picks up a silver bracelet, which is pretty nice armor for the Black Mage. And we've got our first check of dwarves here, and that is a lot of money.
Mm-hmm. Kind of continuing with the theme of the seed so far, which has been, just give our runners all the cash and see what they do with it.
I guess Salty doesn't have warp charges yet. Maybe that kind of went into Hangry's decision as well.
Perhaps.
If Warp showed up in Elfland, and he wanted to do a marsh dive, I can see that plan coming together. But yeah. I don't know if he's going to want to do that after getting this canoe.
Well, we'll see. And Salty Fry got an opal bracelet out of that TNT turn-in, so obviously good armor for the mage, for, well, really both mages, but especially that black mage. But, not an advancement item, not a quest item, but it'll serve fairly well.
Yeah, level 5 black magic, kind of barren, but white magic. Invis 2 is learnable by the red mage.
As Danny translates her slab, Salty is going down to Lefane to check out what that slab provides for us.
And, well, this is kind of a Peninsula of Power grind. We're just gonna do this from the other side.
Yeah, make it more of it's a walking pop grind. And then Gouda picks up his opal.
Hangry, meanwhile, tries to land his airship in the river.
Unfortunately, the only game in which that really works, at least at the current time, is Animal Crossing New Horizons. Also, Danny has satisfied our curiosity and given the Hooray Dwarf a nice little handshake. So, thank you, Danny. Much appreciated.
Yeah, this is a pretty good time to Dan the Thief off on Salty's side, and that Tyro taking a nice bite out of him. Seems like he's happy to go along with this.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Gouda's checking out the chests in Cardia, and it doesn't seem like we've gotten too much from it so far, as Hangry Canuck gets his slab.
Yep, and Gouda is doing a Cardia Islands check, which is pretty solid given that, well, we really haven't found too much, and yeah, Masmune and Cardia is pretty darn good. And how about a katana as well?
Oh boy. So, never mind, we have very sharp things sitting in Cardia.
Alright, Salty is going to help himself to this power gauntlet, which probably feels bad.
Ab turned in was power bonk.
Yeah, that's not so good in a black belt party. Although, given how much early fast temper and life magic access is available, maybe Salty just goes to 32 and thinks that's enough to get through.
Dangwoo popping in chat and just utterly astonished at the seed that is sitting before us here. Yes, Dangwoo, we have some very, very fast strats going on today.
Oh boy, if Salty hadn't saved in a while, yeah, he's got to do that whole walk again.
Oh boy.
Lost a bunch of experience off of that too. This is not a fun pack. They hit very hard and have trance.
Oh dear, yeah, that's a terrible pack to have.
But yeah, it looks like everybody has converged on the Peninsula of Power. Hangry already did his tourism here, though.
Yeah.
And if Salty finds Mazmune, he's probably not going to be too happy about it. But at the same time, if you're going to do a solo black belt grind, that helps you. That helps you get it started real fast.
Oh yes, it certainly does. I mean, the Mazamune is not a weapon to be underestimated in any circumstances. Looks like Salty is going to go check out some things over here in Gaia. We have 42k gold bracelets and 13k pro rings in the armor shop in Gaia.
Which is pretty big news for Salty, considering he is relying very much on light armor here. And with the Opal bracelet, probably only needs to pick up one of those golds.
Yeah.
Yeah, it lines up real well.
Yeah, so we see really what this seed in some sense is telling us is that there are a few different strategies that could potentially win this, or at least place very well, and our runners are adventurous enough to try them, and we'll see which one of these ultimately pan out.
So Gouda is doing a floor 1 Mirage check right now, which is a pretty solid play when you're looking for 3 loose. The play to go up to the second floor as Salty finds his Mazmune is that's a little dicier. It's going to cost a lot more in time.
Yeah. Yeah, because it takes a lot longer to get around to greater than less than it does to just check those floor 1 chests. And I notice Danny is making her way over to Ordeals, so we get to see what the incentive is in there.
The question in chat, Earth was incentive this week. It is, but I think, yeah, so there's only 2 loose this week. That's right, these aren't bracket flags. So yeah, with 2 loose kicking around, I don't think anyone has found a loose item yet, right?
No, aside
other
from
than
the canal.
The canal, yeah.
Which is technically loose, but technically not. It's kind of weird. Also, Hangry finding some unfriendly enemies, stunning the fighter, and doing all sorts of nasty things.
Yeah, those are some stout catmen.
Oh dear.
Yeah, that. Oh no! No! Get out of there, Angry!
No. Oh yeah. Gosh, Hank! Oh no! And he's not quite stun locked.
This is bad news, Bears.
Yep. Oh, down he went.
Well, that's the play. And Hangry is going to join Danny in Ordeals.
For everybody. Hangry has shifted over to the Ordeals play as well. Gouda, meanwhile, has made his way over to greater than less than, so we shall see what that has in store, if anything.
He's already been through 5 chests and hasn't found too much. Alright, and Danny makes it through Ordeals.
Yep, she has ascended the maze, and we will get to see in just a moment what that incentive chest holds. It's a mage staff, and generally regular stuff overall. Seems greater than less than in Mirage didn't really work out to be too terribly much.
Yeah, so looks like greater than less than a pretty big bust, and that is it was a little bit of a setback for.
Meanwhile, Danny finding out that the ordeal's play worked out very well because we have a loose bottle along with the turn-in adamant, or with the incentive adamant, rather.
And a pack of Gerwolves. So not too exciting in the grind tile department, but everything else is pretty good. And yeah, having 2 more items to cash in definitely gives you a lot to do in the early.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, I mean, we've got a fair number of the key items, but the main items that we need, but we're still looking for a rod and a cube and a loot and a key. So there are plenty of things to check and plenty of things potentially to turn in. So I'll be interested to see if Danny decides to go ahead and see about turning those in, or she decides she wants to go ahead and check Waterfall while she's in the neighborhood. And Hangry Canuck finds his loose bottle, and of course, we know that the adamant awaits him at the end of the rainbow, so he is very soon going to be on his way there. And Salty has entered into Ice Cave.
Well, it's an interesting play, but you've got a lot of warp charges to mess around with, so not too bad. And there are a ton of grind tiles that you can actually take a look at in here.
Yeah, that's one thing that Ice is very good about, is those grind tiles, as Hangry Canuck picks up his adamant.
Yeah, I would feel a lot better about scouting grind tiles if I had a ribbon. But sometimes you just got to do what you have to do.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the fact that I don't believe we've seen a ribbon yet. So, of course, one thing that you may see them in Ice, because there are plenty of chests to check. Meanwhile, Chad is busy talking about the Charmin commercials that apparently are part of the play-in race experience this evening. I mean, I like, very fluffy, charismatic bears as much as the next person, but I'm not sure I like them too much with my Final Fantasy.
Yeah, funny enough, there are no bear enemies in this. Which, I mean, it's probably for the best, because I could get grizzly.
Well, I mean, yeah. Sorry, I cannot follow up that pun. I have to tip my hat to you, sir.
Yeah, it was pretty unbearable.
Alright. Well, I'm afraid you're going to have to be the one-man pun master. I'm not terribly good at it, so I will simply let you do what you're good at. Meanwhile, it seems that chat finds your puns unbearable as well. So I think I will be the straight man, and he can be the pun master for the evening. Meanwhile, Chad is obliging our puns.
I was thinking real hard how to work Ursine in there, but I just it didn't come to me.
Bit of item for the Ice Cave, and it is the rod.
Alright, so that's very required. Meanwhile, we've got double crystal on Hangry and Danny's side. So yeah, we are getting all kinds of information real fast. So again, shout out to our trackers, Avos and Jonathan, for doing the hard work behind the scenes and helping us all.
Found a Thor hammer behind it. And Hangry has turned in his adamant and found the tail, so we have ourselves a promotionable group of people. We've got some folks about to grow up.
Yeah, that's really nice. especially because Hangry is at level 18 now. The fighter learns their spell charges on odd levels. So Hangry, getting to maybe 24 or 25 should have the sort of the full complement of spells. And hasn't done the Cardia check yet, so this is pretty convenient.
Yeah, especially since we know that there is a Mass Immune and a Katana lurking in that lovely set of chests.
Yeah, which is interesting. Both your endgame swords hanging out in the Cardia area. Anybody that went primary thief kind of has an interesting decision to make. I still like the Masmium better, but boy, that katana, when you get it fasted up, can do some serious damage.
Oh yes, absolutely.
And yeah, Gouda's still lugging a statue around with him.
As Salty Fry makes his exit
Oh
out
no,
of the ice
Hangry
cave.
went fast and dropped the mage staff.
Oh no.
So excited.
And Gouda gets his crystal from the fairy in the bottle, and Hangry Canuck grows up in Cardia.
Yeah, Hangry is very likely to find a light axe soon, so it's not going to make too much of a difference, but yeah, it kind of feels bad.
Meanwhile, I see Salty has made his way into the volcano, and he's checking the armory to see if it has any delectable goodies for us. Don't believe he's found any just yet.
No, this is a pretty chest-dense location, and I'm surprised we hadn't seen somebody take a shot at this sooner.
Yeah.
Especially, I don't believe we've seen any ribbons yet either, right?
Well, speaking it shall appear, there it was.
Hey.
And also, a somewhat lesser note, there was also a Vorpal sword hanging out in the armory. Regard that however you wish, chat.
So yeah, at this point, Salty is in real good shape. And I think the only nice to have left to find would be the defense sword.
Yeah. Yeah, especially since he's playing on those high-level black belt strats. Yeah, he doesn't really have to find a whole lot else in terms of armor and other such things.
It's interesting, too. He also has the option to just take that black belt to level 28 to get the extra hit and just treat it like a slightly worse fighter. I don't particularly like that strategy versus going to 32, but it is an option if he ever feels like he's getting behind.
Right. Well, I mean, his levels are pretty good right now. I believe they are, I think the last I saw his levels were 19, I believe?
Yeah, he ended up two-manning for a while with sort of a dead black mage.
So Hangry Canuck is in the waterfall, and Gouda is just stepping in as we speak, so we're going to see what that incentive becomes momentarily as Salty continues his dive into Volcano.
Yeah, and Volcano's also a nice place to check out some encounters as well. There are four unique tiles. Indeed,
and if any of them end up being some of the more coveted grind tiles in the game, like for instance the 3-eye grind, then he really could be off to the races on those levels real fast.
Yeah, Volcano is one of the better places to set up a grind just because of that. There are so many places where you can take fights and not advance the encounter table. Hey, speaking of defense, and a Bane sword.
Well, Salty, it looks like Salty's pretty well set then.
So the We're gonna see what is on the tile here, and Hangry is going to the seafood buffet.
Oh dear.
Oh boy, Salty finds another loose.
Oh yes, he found his crown, and the waterfall item is the cube.
All right, so that pretty much accounts for everything. We just need to find, who's the first runner that's going to put it all together.
Yeah.
And Salty is kind of at an advantage here, finding the loose item in the first Fiend dungeon he's dove.
Mm-hmm.
But we have yet to see if that is going to lead to anything significant. I'm pretty sure it will, since we've seen Tail and the other 3 items.
Right, yeah. It will... Yeah, it's finding those loose items so early definitely is going to speed up Salty's play, certainly, and we'll see how the levels work out for him. So Hangry's headed out of the waterfall, and Salty is finding finding at least Agamas to fight. Meanwhile, Gouda has made his way into the Sea Shrine and is beginning to gallivant around there. And it looks like Hangry Canuck is pretty much thinking the same thing. So Hangry choosing to go ahead and go for the Kraken side, and it seems that Gouda has started the Kraken side as well, so they are pretty close to each other in that sense.
Okay, so if they swing back and do then do mermaids, that's going to be a lot of checks that don't really amount to very much. And Salty, meanwhile, Frostwolf's not too bad.
Yeah, those are pretty easy to nuke out of existence, fortunately for him.
Oh, and we have a bunch of empty calories here.
Oh no. So it looks like Salty is going to go ahead and take on Carrie, because he is definitely coursing his way in that direction, as both Hangry Canuck and Gouda find a ribbon in the middle of the Sea Shrine.
Oh boy, that is a ribbon that pretty much everybody is going to find.
Oh yes. Yeah, that's in a very easy greed location, so I don't see hardly any runners passing that up.
Hang on a second, we found an opal armor.
Mm-hmm.
Move that opal Cheerio around.
Yeah.
Danny doing some of the top level Earth checks right now. Hangry, still scouting out C. And Salty is taking on Carrie right now, and all offense.
Yeah, that's definitely, no question on that strategy whatsoever, considering the firepower that they have. Hangry Canuck finding a white shirt in the Sharknado tile.
Yeah, white shirt, usually a good item to have on your 4th character, which Hangry does not have right now. So one of the reasons I don't like having nuns in the party is because live bodies are very useful to sacrifice to Kraken too.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Salty finished off Carrie with relative ease and is going to go have a chat with Astos, a key-bearing Astos, no less.
Just cut to the chase, right? No crystal, no herb. Just here's a key.
Yeah. I'll be honest, Steel Golem, I don't particularly have an answer to the black belt question because I have played with a black belt in precisely one seed, and I did that 2 days ago. So I am certainly not a master on black belt strats in
The
any way,
iron
shape, or form.
the iron chuck should be tossed around level 7. And hey, how about this for a grind tile?
Oh,
Worms.
yes.
And if they rolled pretty low, it looks like they have not.
No, I was going to say, they look like they rolled into some meaty wormness, so Kevin Bacon would be proud.
Yeah, so this is the tile that you use to get if you're planning on going to 42. This is the tile that you use to get from 32 to 42.
Oh, absolutely.
It's just the question is, what do you use until then?
Yeah. Meanwhile, Hanger Canuck has decided to engage in a little bit of sushi making.
Salty can definitely use that tile to get to 32. I think he's just gonna be stuck doing sort of a 2-man grind just because of those how hard those worms hit.
And Hangry Canuck has made his sushi, and he has lit his first orb at around the 41-minute mark.
Yeah, C is a pretty nice one to just knock out, and should be noted, Hangry's at level 22 across the board already, so getting pretty good levels. Probably doesn't need to grind at all because of the pop grind.
Right. And Hangry is making his way into Ice Cave, where we know that I've already seen some of our other runners go out, and it looks like Gouda is approaching Kraken, so he's going to be engaged in some sushi making very soon himself.
All right, now depending on where Salty goes from here, he could be very, very quickly in go mode.
Oh yes, and because all he really lacks now for go mode is essentially just the loot.
All right, and he's making the ordeals play, and he still needs to do waterfall as well. But he's gonna find that second loose bottle and know where everything else is from this point on. All right, Gouda pulling Kraken, who leads off with a fire 2.
Gouda's Kraken fight is proceeding accordingly, and proceeding very quickly as well with all that power.
Yep, just microwave calamari.
Gouda lights his first orb at 43 minutes.
And Gouda is going back in, so definitely taking a little bit of the bait here, but if you don't come back here, if you don't go right back in, you're not going to come back for a very, very long time. So I totally get the play. Yeah, and Salty is also going to be... Salty, having found the one ribbon in the armory chest, is going to likely have 2 ribbons, grabbing those greed chests along the way.
Oh, it looks like we have Danny is making her way through, making a full run at the Earth Cave, and she is about to approach the vampire. She's certainly making her way in that direction right now, and it seems Gouda is getting pretty close to to at least taking down some sharks and such.
Yeah, early Earth is an interesting play. I don't particularly like going to Earth early, but in this flag set, a lot of loose items have tended to fall into Earth. And since she has the rod away, checking this incentive chest seems like a pretty good move.
Yeah. Looks like the vampire has stone touch, which is not the most fun thing in the world to see from a vampire.
Yeah, barfed out a brack there, so that feels
Oh,
kind of
okay.
bad. There's the loot.
Ah, so we have our loot in the vampire chest, which of course is incentivized this week. So I believe between all of our runners, that is all of our key items. So we will see just who grabs all the shiny brass rings the fastest.
I mean, according to the lore, the vampire did loot Melmond. I just didn't realize it was literal.
Yeah, no kidding.
Gouda, well, C might not be necessary, but in the first two chests he checks, he finds a ribbon and the dragon armor.
Yeah.
So we know all three of the ribbons are now.
Right. And that's obviously the dragon armor is great news for any fighters. As Salty Fry picks up the loose bottle and is about to get the adamant from Ordeals. But that dragon armor is definitely great news for a fighter because it's the best armor in the game for a fighter, with not only the great absorb, but also all those resistances. So it's definitely a lucrative mermaid's dive in terms of fighter equipment. Perhaps not in terms of progress, but still, I mean, your fighter doesn't die as quickly. That's a good thing. And Hangry Canuck finding the Excalibur on the second floor of Earth, which I presume Danny already picked up. And Sea Coyote asking who rolled this seed. Well, I believe it was Dangwu. At least that's certainly how he was alluding to it when he was chatting a little bit ago. So we can blame him for all of the fast and happy action.
It's all an elaborate ruse. We're gonna have a max evade chaos with double nukes.
Oh heavens. Imagine. I have a feeling chats on all four of these channels are going to lose their mind if anything like that happens. So Danny making her way toward Lich proper, and Gouda making his entrance into Earth Cave. So it seems like a lot of runners are now congregating around, well, just as we saw it earlier with everybody congregating in various locations. Now they're congregating in the Earth Cave. So have yourselves a nice chat, guys. Sit up, have a spot of tea.
Alright, so Gouda finding an Excal, definitely not what you're looking for, but having both Excal and Mazmune on Fighter Red Mage respectively feels pretty good going through Sky. So it's not gonna save him a whole lot of time, but it'll save him a little bit.
Yeah. And if nothing else, I mean, it gives you a little bit more peace of mind knowing that you've got two capable sword swingers along with those magic users, just in case something decides to roll particularly pernicious.
Alright, so Salty at the end of that fetch quest picks up the Thor hammer and I think realizes, yeah, I gotta go check everything out.
So he then grabs his tail from the adamant turn in, and Hangry Canuck gets his loot from the vampire.
Another interesting set of tiles to check are the two in Earth on the bottom floor. Because if you do your grind there, you're very, very likely to get through Lich without any problems.
Yeah.
It all depends on if you see anything nasty along the way, but yeah, there's the Sphinxes and then the Ogre Hyena vanilla tiles there that you can check.
So the party at the Earth Cave is now a four-man party, or four-person party, I should say, because everybody is now at various parts of the Earth Cave. Well, Steel Golem, we did see Danny pay her homage to the Hooray Dwarf, so the seed is validated, if only for at least one of the runners.
Salty making pretty good use of that Bane sword there.
Yeah, that can be especially useful if you have a seed that doesn't have very good magic rolling early. If you're able to find that, then that can get in some serious work. To have just in case, and it saves you some magic charges if you use it well. Now taking her attack on Earth, and she is taking it down with one nuke shot. Alrighty then. Glitch, it would appear. Going to avail herself of that Invis 2 at Melman. Of course, a fantastic spell to have. So, Simple Sarah, the top 8 out of the 15 runners who are going in this seed will advance to the bracket rounds, as both Gouda and Salty Fry pick up their loots essentially simultaneously.
Gouda does not have the rod, though, so has to warp out, and that's going to be kind of another ding on his time.
Oh yeah, that's especially unfortunate, because you mentioned not liking to do the Earth Dive early, and one of the big reasons you don't do the Earth Dive early is because if you don't have that rod, then you're confirmed double dipping, and double dipping at a point where you would have to use significant time to go back.
And I feel like that is something that is more of a gamble strategy in this flag set, and I wouldn't be surprised if some of the runners off stream also tried it, but This is not the seed for it this time around.
No. So, of course, he's now making his way into Ice Cave, and we know he will find the rod in the incentivized chest there. So, I rather get the feeling that when he sees that, there may be at least a few seconds of a pause for dramatic effect, shall we say. It looks like Danny is picking up her level 3, level 4 magic for her now grown-up party members while she is in the neighborhood. And it's a good, especially since a lot of those magic checks are in the inner sea area, it's a good idea if you're going to do that just to loop around and do them all at once. Meanwhile, Hangry Canuck is starting his Lich fight and ending his Lich fight. Just like that.
And I just gotta sweep some spiders out of the way, too. Walked into some cobwebs on the way.
Yeah, I know, right? Just, just a little thing. Nothing big. Nothing to worry about.
And interestingly enough, Salty, very much the last person to join the Earth Party, and almost makes it out at the same time as Hangry Canuck. So, the power of going.
Oh yeah.
And Hangry is in the right spot for finding that crown.
Yep. Now, of course, it would be a huge surprise if he does not check that armory. He's just getting some of the more problematic chests out of the way first. Meanwhile, it looks like Salty Fry's about. Sorry, say again.
No, I was gonna say that is a tile of sadness and empty calories.
Oh dear. It looks like Salty is about to head into Waterfall and find the treasures there, so... Danny almost accidentally started a new game, it looked like, before she was able to come back in.
Yeah, thankfully that doesn't, when you hit new game, it doesn't automatically erase your save. That would be absolutely terrifying.
Oh, yeah, sorry, that horrifies me, the very prospect of it.
It took me almost 20 years to beat the original Final Fantasy. I played it when it originally came out, but my cart kept dumping the save file, and I never got as far as Sky.
Oh no. I know I've beaten the original Final Fantasy, but I really don't remember when. I think it might have been actually with one of the remakes, and not the actual original Final Fantasy until, of course, I started playing the Randomizer. Also, Hangry finding Werewolves with Fire 3, which is not exactly what you want to see ever, really.
That's pretty rude. Hey, there's the second ribbon. That's definitely what you want to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hangry is definitely on the right path here.
So it looks like both Danny and Salty Fry are about to complete their waterfall checks, and Salty Fry finding some mudgulls who want to punch out his black mage. And Danny picks up her cube. Salty Fry, of course, about to grab his, and everybody will now have full access to Sky, should they so desire. Well, of course they will need to, just a question of now or later.
Yeah, Salty's stepping on the gas here.
Yeah. That's understandable. I mean, he's got pretty good levels. He's got everything he feels he needs in terms of armor, so why not?
There we go. Hangry finding his king hat.
And he promptly nopes out of the rest of the chest. So, Hangry has, well, for all intents and purposes, gone into go mode because he knows that crown is going to become the key. Meanwhile, Chad is lamenting a 4 red dragon tile. Or perhaps celebrating it, I suppose. Not sure whether that ooh is an oh my god or an holy crap.
Oh man, Hangry down to his last 10 heal potions.
Oh gosh. So, time to go shopping shortly.
4 hits for 116 on a fully armored knight. So that is a terrifying carry for a low level group. But I don't think anybody did that.
Well, fortunately, Henry Canuck was able to push through and gets his fire orb lit and tries to set his airship down on the water.
He just wants to go fishing. Bring it lower. I think I can get that curried.
Yeah, hey, I mean, we can do deep sea fishing. Why can't we do deep air fishing?
So Hangry just has to knock air out, and he'll be good to go. Also, probably should stop and get those life charges on the net.
Yeah. And considering he's set down in Provoca, I presume that's what it looks like he is going to do. Yep, that is indeed what he does. Meanwhile, Hangry has chosen Gaia to restock his heal pots before he ventures into Mirage and the Sky Tower.
Kind of a long walk for that one. I would have liked to see a stopover in Crescent Lake.
Yeah.
But gets it done.
Yeah.
And Salty is just loaded with ribbons.
Mm-hmm.
And Gouda is going to dig out the crown briefly as well. But that double dip is going to prove to be real costly.
Yeah, very much.
Oh boy, Gouda not healing.
Salty Fry is making his way. He is about to reach Kraken, whereas Hangry Canuck is about to make his way into the
Gouda dodged a bullet
cave,
there.
or whatever you wish to call it this time. Probably not going to check much in the way of chests. Seed has to offer in terms of treasures, and I don't see why he would want to. I'm going for more shinies.
Yeah, we are in shape to have some absurdly quick times, I think. I mean, Hangry full cleared, pretty much full cleared sea and Earth, and still is, well, there's the 3-eye tile. Danny found it. Jackpot.
Found it in C. And Salty Fry is making his sushi, whereas Danny has chosen to not do any more on that 3-eye tile, but is going to go ahead and start going through the rest of those chests. And meanwhile, Slime's with Blizzard on Hangry Canuck's side, but it looks like Nuke is, well, somewhat going to do the job. Of course, we also have him on the Bridge of Destiny, so bless RNGs, if you will. And unfortunately, no Robot Chicken for Hangry Canuck at least. But as Salty Fry has just entered Mirage, we may very well see it on his end.
Oh dear, the potion's in the worst spot for Hangry right now. And here's the Tia fight.
All right. So we've not really seen the Fiends be terribly challenging so far. But we'll see if...
And they will continue to not be terribly challenging.
Nope. I was about to say, we'll see if they will be challenging, and then...
So, as of right now, Hangry needs to go back and pick up Temper on the Black Mage. Just didn't get that at level 1 at the start. But he also needs to pick up some heal potions in Canaria as well. It's not going to cost him too much time, but I would have liked to see that Temper pick up earlier.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
Danny pick up the shirt as well. So Danny, unfortunately, still not having the crown yet.
Yeah, so unfortunately she's in a position of she's looking for loose in all the wrong places. And sadly, of course, obviously we're aware, but she's not, that it's looking like it's going to be in about the last place that she checked, or at least, fairly close. And it's just unfortunate, of course. I mean, we see it from this side because we see all the streams, but it's unfortunate to see on her end.
Question in chat, where was the crown? The crown was in the 5-pack of chests in Volcano. Third, sort of that bottom first treasure floor you come into in the upper left.
And Hangry Canuck has entered the Temple of Fiends around probably about 1:06:30, I believe. Temple of Fiends Revisited, and he is going to make his way to see if he can finish this whole thing off.
You know what's interesting is that the Sky crew, Sky totally did not pay out today. We found everything else of value everywhere else.
Yeah.
So anybody that did a full clear of Sky is probably taking a beating right now as far as the time goes.
Yeah, so Sky became why. Or maybe bye to all that time.
Just as a note, I will recap the current position of the runners when we have our first finisher on this stream.
Sure, yeah, of course.
So anybody that is anybody that wants to avoid spoilers and watch back the other streams, just have some fair warning there. Oh, this is real clever from Hangry. He's saving a ton of heal potions just by throwing that life tube out there. Just let the knight get pummeled, and away we go.
Yeah. Well, that is definitely a good strategy because that's 19 heal pots that he's saving. Well, at least potentially 19 heal pots that he's saving by just letting the fighter go down and using one life 2 charge.
We got a chicken!
Oh, hello, chicken! And Salty Fry proceeds to try to fry said chicken. Not sure how well Warmech takes to being KFC'd.
Good news is Warmech is only throwing out lit 2s. The bad news is those lit 2s are kind of what you want to see, sort of at the I don't know, on your Krakens and Tiamats and Chaoses, and not on your friendly robot chicken.
Right. Exactly.
But of note, that Warmech fight got the black belt to level 32. So here we go. He's I don't think he's going to have too much problem with Temple of Fiends if Hangry if it's one that Hangry gets through pretty quickly. I think Salty is going to get through that even faster.
Yeah. And he's got another Warmech?
Oh no, don't be greedy. One's enough. You hit your level. Just get out of there.
I guess we could call this some robot insurance? I don't know. Not sure what exactly you'd... Well, he did take it down pretty quickly, though, with that now super duper black belt. And he gets another one!
Oh my goodness. And, like, I understand why he wants to do this. Because this is ridiculous experience, but at the same time, this is also excessive. Like...
And Gouda just pulled one as well. So, did Salty... I was admittedly looking at Hangry Canucks dive. Did Salty go intentionally for that second one?
I don't think he went for them. He just found them.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, because when he came out of that second one, he was only about halfway up the bridge. And chat mentioning that Gouda promptly exited his war mech. He had wanted no part of it, but he's getting the multi-blizzard maelstrom, I suppose. And it's not sitting too terribly well. Meanwhile, on Hangry Canuck's side, he has very quickly disposed of 3 of the 4 Fiend refights, so he is just blazing through Topher. And Salty has entered Topher around 1 hour, 11 minutes, probably about 1:11:15. So we'll see if his black belt punch strats end up giving him any chance to, or any time to catch up to Hangry Canuck. So it looks like Hangry Canuck is powering up the fighter for the Tiamat fight with, I believe, a couple of tempers. And it's continued. And then you've got the magicians going after nuke strats now that they've got the fighter tempered up, and Tiamat goes down. So Hangry Canuck is through all 4 of his fiends, and only an unrunnable iron goal seemingly stands between him and Chaos. But it looks like it is standing very tall indeed.
He's being kind of rude here, and I don't know if Hangry is just trying to sneak another life through here, but kind of playing with fire.
Yeah, it looked like he was. I mean, it felt to me like he was really just trying to save as many of those spell charges as he could for Chaos. But he makes his way and is getting himself all prepped and ready for the fight against Chaos.
The 4th story is, where were you all game?
So it looks like he has gotten his fighter, 5 hits, 444 damage. And now you've got, well, continued temper strat, so he is leaning heavily on that fighter with the Mazimmune. Chaos with a rub that doesn't do anything. 7 hits, 877, and Chaos is down.
And so Hangry Canuck finishes with official SR time of 1:13:55, but unfortunately only in 10th place.
Hangry Canuck, that was a very quick Temple of Fiends revisited in basically every way, shape, and form, as Salty Fry is making his way to carry 2, and Gouda is beginning to push toward the Lich floor of Topher.
So yeah, I said I would take you back through the finish times. So our first place finisher was Shadow Walker with a time of 1:03:26. Second was Cheesinator with a time of 1:06:03. And shortly behind him was Thunderclawed at a time of 1:07:22. Zenobian finished in 4th place with a time of 1:10:27. Crab Cakes finished in 5th place with a time of 1:10:44. Spellzap finished with a time of 1:10:55 in 6th place. In 7th was Asher with a time of 1:11:54. And in 8th was Silverfire with a time of 1:11:58. Less than 10 seconds separated 7th, 8th, and 9th place.
Wow. And it sounds like it was only about probably a 3 or 4 minute separation between just about all of the top 8.
So crazy, crazy finish.
Oh, very much. My goodness. I have to imagine for the folks in some of our other channels who got to see those jets going on, especially if they had multiple of them in the same stream. Oh, man.
Joined by Hangry right now. GG.
Yeah, that was a quick C, but I think I know where I went wrong.
Oh,
Yeah.
gee.
Yeah, GG to you. It's just, I think it was just a matter of which dungeon did you go in first, and I mean, a lot of credit to you. You did C and you did Earth first, and you still finished with a 113.
Yeah, if I had hit Volcano instead of going to Earth because I wanted to check that last location, it would have been a little different. Then I wouldn't have had the full clear Earth.
It really seemed like this seed, the chat was reacting a little, well, they were a little disappointed that the seed handed so many things to you guys pretty much right off the bat with level 1 nuke and a lot of good magic spells fairly early on. Then, of course, you end up getting the travel agents pretty quickly, so you're able to just start zooming almost immediately. So if nothing else, this seed was very, very, well, certainly gracious to everybody's time.
Oh, yeah, there was... the only thing I can think of that was bad was the encounter table at one point. It was like 5 encounters and about 15 steps, so that's about the worst part of it. Oh, and the cockatrices had damage poison.
Oh, that can't have been fun. So it looks like we have Salty Fry is about to hit his Chaos fight. So he has his Thief up as at least a one-hit taker. And of course, as we saw as he grinded and made his decisions, he is, of course, putting everything he has behind that black belt. So first turn was just getting that black belt ready. Second turn is going to be making sure that Chaos is easy to hit, lining up the black belt for that big punch. And that big punch comes 11 hits, 1,300 damage, and Chaos is toast. So GG Salty Fry.
Yeah, so Salty Fry finishing in 12th with a 118.15. Fizzlebee finishing with a 117.44.
Man, it's definitely a jet seed when you're talking about lower tier times, 1 hour 18, 1 hour 19, 1 hour 20.
Yeah, I just had it on a pop grind at the beginning of the game. But they wanted nothing to do with killing the Black Mage. I wanted to two-man it, but he wouldn't die. Like, they would not hit him.
Yeah, you had him in the front the entire time, and just nothing happened.
Also, we are joined by Salty Fry. GG, Salty Fry.
GG.
So, what did you think about that seed handing magic to you and eventually handing travel agents to you on a bit of a silver platter?
Yeah, it was quite something. Everything was kind of right there. I kind of prepared more for kind of a slow and steady grind throughout this seed, and it was completely the opposite for this. So
When you were
I kind of backfired on.
queuing up that black belt strat, that's definitely what we were thinking. If the magic rolled badly or if anything else of that ilk happened, then you were pretty well good to go because you had that black belt and you were getting at levels with relative ease. And so it was definitely working out. If it was a slower and steadier seed, you would have been primed to maybe start a little bit slower, but then you would have been primed to just surge forward in the back half of the seed.
Like, I never had any plans to go for the win in this. Like, I was just kind of trying to aim for like the top half somewhere, and I figured if I kind of played it slow and steady, most likely it'd work out in my favor. But I guess the way the seed played out, it was the complete opposite of that. I had the complete wrong approach and ended up doing ordeals for nothing, which didn't help anything. So yeah, it's just kind of the way it goes sometimes.
Is taking an Olympic length victory lap on the way to going after Chaos.
Yeah, just sometimes the seed is perfect for like a speed and power approach, and I think you even saw that when you one shot Chaos.
Yeah, exactly. Like all of the fiends seemed like they were pretty much paper and didn't really put up much of a fight at all. I didn't see any nasty spells. I mean, I saw Swirl on Tia 2, but that was about it. But everything else seemed pretty straightforward and low HP. Nothing hitting too. The 3 War Mechs were pretty interesting though on the Bridge of Destiny. That got me a lot of even more XP than I already had.
Yeah, we saw that, and initially, I know I was first thinking I wasn't sure if you were trying to take extra War Mech fights, and then when you came out of that second, when you were still in the middle of the Bridge of Destiny, then we realized, holy mackerel, you had just gotten 3 of them naturally.
That was kind of crazy. I've never had that many in a row before. I've seen 2 in a row before like that before, but I've never had 3 in a row like that. So there's a first for everything, I guess.
Oh yeah, definitely. So Gouda is taking on his Chaos fight, and looks like he is working on both buffing up and defensing his fighter to make sure they can endure, of course, the long haul.
But either way, thank you
First
guys
up.
thanks for the restream. I gotta get to bed, so y'all have a good night.
Yeah, have a good night, and thanks again, Angry.
Toward the end, and he has taken down Chaos, so GG Gouda.
Yeah, GG to Gouda, and yeah, we're joined by Gouda in chat right now.
Thanks, Edge. It always feels great when you pick the wrong dungeon.
It seemed like with how jetty the seed was, it was the old pick a box, and yeah, Volcano was the answer to.
Yep. And I decided to go to the North Continent and do everything else, and then go to Volcano, and I went, well, this is a free chest. I hope nobody else did this. And then, basically, as soon as I did that, Shadow Walker was done, and I'm like, yep, a lot of people did this. Well, I'm screwed. Now what can you do?
Yeah, it seemed like you made a couple of gambles as well. Greater than less than rune was a bust, and then checking the incentive Earth chest, it wasn't the rod sitting there.
Right, and I was kind of hoping that it would be that either the loose would be on the way down, or the rod would be there, and it wasn't. And in my head, I went, I should go Ice, Volcano, Earth, and then I'm like, I'll just go Earth. So there was a couple gambles in routing that it was kind of on the way, and none of it paid off. I was really hoping with the early chime I could sneak in something fun with the Sky play or the Mirage play, but big old goose egg out of there too.
Overall, yeah, it's crazy. Some of the fastest times has probably been the fastest overall seed in the tournament. I think maybe not by finish time, but just in general. And,
No, I agree.
Yeah, this seed was insanely fast. It was pretty breathtaking to watch everybody finding everything, and I kind of feel bad for the trackers because I imagine that they were just looking up and 5 seconds later there's another item and another couple minutes later there's something else that gets found. So definitely kudos to the trackers as well. They had to be very much on their game tonight.
Yeah, it was funny. I was chatting with some people before this, and I'm like, I'm really hoping for just garbage magic, no fast floater, like the kind of seed that I can excel in, where I just have nothing to work with, and everybody is slogging, and people are dying left and right. And we 1000% didn't get that. And when I was chatting, I was like, you know what? If we get like level 1 nuke and a fast floater, I bet you Shadow Walker and Cheeseinator win this thing. And sure enough, they were 1 and 2.
Now, as chat pointed out, they were hoping for garbage as well, and none of us got it. The landfill is completely empty tonight.
Yeah, it was meh. This is not the kind of seed that I excel in. Like, as soon as I found floater and canoe right away, I was like, well, good luck. But I think you're right, Edge. I think this was the fastest seed all tournament. Like, we had how many people finish under 110, which is just nuts.
So Danny finishing out this volcano dive here, and is definitely feels bad when you have done everything else except for volcano, and she's gonna get the bad news short.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for her. I mean, it's especially bad when you've got that last loose item pretty deep in a fiend dungeon, and I mean, sometimes it's the dungeon you pick first, sometimes it's the dungeon you pick last, and unfortunately for Danny, she picked it last, and especially as all the duns were rolling in on the SRL channel, she has to have just been sitting there trying to figure out what went wrong. And it wasn't really necessarily that it went wrong exactly, it was more that it was just the last decision she made was the one that would have paid off.
Yeah, for sure. There was nothing in this seed that was really awful. Like, I think the Fire 3 werewolves were the worst thing that we saw. And if you didn't go to Earth right away, and we didn't have to go to Marsh, then I mean, you didn't even see them.
Yeah.
I mean, I should say you didn't see him when it mattered.
Yeah.
And I mean, Masa was free up in Cardia, and Dragon Armor was free in, I believe it was Volcano, and there was at least 2 ribbons, I believe, that were free just on the way. So, I mean, literally everything you wanted in this game was right there, and Bottle in, I believe it was, Ordeals was just another freebie, and I go, wow, just couldn't hope for anything better than what happened in this seed. It's just that, the volcano lovers are the ones that had to pay off.
Yeah, it seemed like it was the perfect Shadow Walker style seed too. Just like level 1 nuke on 3 black mages and no HP in Temple of Fiends at all.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I'm like, I want to see if I can one-shot Chaos, and I just temper, let's go. And the way that my luck's gone all week in practicing, I'm like, I'm going to get baned through this ribbon. Because that did happen to me in a practice seed. I got straight up Bane through a ribbon, and I'm like, well, all right. Next practice seed, first turn zap, done. Well, all right. This is how this week's gonna go.
Oh wow. Man, that's one of those that when you get that, you're just thinking, well, at least if you kind of want to go silver lining on it, you're thinking, well, at least it's in the practice seed and not in the real thing.
Yeah, this was about as paper of a Topher as we've seen all racing too. Like we had 2 months of racing, and this was super paper. At half the time, I didn't have to swing with my knight. It was just 4 nukes and they were done. Every single one of them.
Yeah, it was. I know when we were watching the seeds, it was. I think you blinked and you were done with 2 or 3 of the Topher fiends, and it's just going, okay, what in the world happened?
Yeah, I think the only thing that we could have hoped for more was healing out of the red mages.
Yeah.
Other than that, we literally had everything we wanted. Nuke level 1, Ice 3 level 2, with Life 2 level 2, so it was Knight learnable, and then Lit 3 level 3. I mean, that's why I just kept my red mage down half the seed. I'm like, I don't need it. And I wanted, with early Masa, I wanted levels on my Knight, and black mages are squishy.
Well, we see Danny is about to make her entry into Topher at, looks like once she gets rid of all of her houses, she is going to enter into Topher at about probably 1:31:45 thereabout.
Yeah, she never went and talked to Astos, so this is going to be a lesson to
Oh dear.
make sure you have the key.
It's just if you shove the crown in there hard enough, maybe it'll open.
Yeah.
Oh, the little spikes on top of the crown are mini keys. I got it. Oh, she remembered.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think she remembered. On the good news on her end is she figured it out without losing very much time, because I believe that was probably figured out. Oh wait, it's to burn off her tents to make room for that extra area in her inventory, and then she should be good to go. So we have a second Topher entry. It's going to be, once she gets that taken care of on the encounter table, she's going to re-enter Topher at 1:33:14.
So which dungeons were not needed in this is the real question I have. Because I couldn't keep mental track of it.
I think it was definitely Sky, Sea, and other than the incentive chest and Earth, you could bypass that one too.
Okay, so Ordeals was optional. Avos or Tracker saying
The Sky crowd ended up being the YYY crowd because there was literally nothing there. Seemed like the rest of the items were, of course, outside of the incentive locations. The rest of the items were fairly spread out, so there wasn't a lot that you really could avoid. But Sky was the big one, especially since the Chime and the Cube both came in relatively quickly. It seemed to encourage a Sky, Sky, and then it just completely bottomed out.
Yeah, and C was most certainly a big time suck.
Well, if nothing else with C, it was interesting to see, at least, that the TFC chest didn't seem to come into play this time after it reared its head in such glorious fashion earlier. And Danny is making her way through the fire floor. She brushed Lich 2 off like the essentially speed bump that one would generally see Lich 2 to be. She's making her way to Carrie, and she is soon going to, well, essentially, as we now are fully aware, she is going to, well, wipe that paste off her windshield pretty soon too. And it goes down to a well-placed nuke, and she enters into the water floor, finding a nasty water Naga unrunnable tile. Good news is, though, Ices will take care of that with relative ease. It looks like the water's rolled pretty heavy, though.
It's like this is the nastiest thing on the water floor.
Yeah. And I don't know, did any of the other runners see that encounter? I don't remember seeing it myself, but to be honest, the Topher runs were going so quickly it was easy to miss a lot.
Yeah, they were kind of burning through there.
All right, so Classic Gamer pointing out that some folks did see that nasty tile on other streams, but unfortunately Danny is the one who gets to see it on this one, so sorry, Danny. It looks like that seafood party pack is not really doing her any favors either, unfortunately. But looks like she's made it through and is about to engage in her Kraken 2 fight. And she came in with plenty of heal pots and resources, so fortunately, even with that nasty water tile, she is still in pretty good shape. And Jonathan Yoshi pointing out that she has a lot of tempers and fasts as well, especially considering you've got the two red mages and the black mage. So yeah, there's plenty of firepower, not to mention the fact that the fiends are not terribly challenging anyway. So yeah, this is a matter of not if, but when. Danny takes everything down.
Sort of a march towards inevitability as we wrap up this last chance qualifier, or excuse me,
yes.
the play.
Yes. Yeah, one might even call it, people will call it kind of a coronation, if you will, that last march as she engages in her Tia fight and begins to get that fighter ready to do some pretty heavy hitting, and the fighter hits and gets about 500 damage in, so then prepares more nuke strats, and that will... Yep, there you go. There it goes. So now Danny is just that last chaos fight away from wrapping this thing up, and she is, yes, making her way straight there. No victory laps for her.
All business.
Oh yes, she's got one thing in our mind, on her mind, and it is a dead chaos. So it looks like her strategy for going after chaos is pretty much the same strategy we've seen in a lot of the other parties, which is getting that fighter, whoever the heavy hitter is, getting them ready to just punch through a wall. And it looks like that will continue well into round 2 as we see Fasts and Tempers go out, as we see the Knight getting that defense sword just to make sure, just in case chaos hits heavy, that it can be easily taken care of. At this rate, of course, we have a strong idea of how quickly and easily that fighter is just going to carve through chaos. She's continuing on with the offensive strat. She wants to make absolutely certain that chaos goes down into just a heap of garbage.
All right, come on, Fizz. 1863.
Jeez Louise. GG, Danny. Wow. Definitely one-hit fighter, that's for sure. Holy mackerel. So Danny has finished out this broadcast, or at least our runners, with some considerable aplomb, taking the fighter and applying it heavily to anything named Chaos.
And we're joined by Danny now. GG.
Hi, thanks.
GG, Danny.
Thank you. I suppose, because, stupid crown.
You're telling me, Danny. You're telling me.
And I was by. So you just said, why don't I just do Volcano Armor? I was like, no, there's still whatever. Don't do it. And I didn't. And stupid crown.
Well, it definitely happens to the best of us, trying to plot out where we might find those incentives, and then it happens to always be somewhere else.
It sure did. Because I checked all kinds of other places first. With an encounter table that did not make any of that quick.
Oh, it did not.
Oh, it sure didn't.
Yeah,
I may have been yelling on stream just like 2-3 minutes in already, because it was just like, could you just let me get a run in anywhere, please?
There was a run somewhere. I have no idea where, but I didn't hard reset for like 25 minutes, and I found it.
At one point I did too, and I went, hey, we found one! But I think I might have seen it 3 times, that entire stupid scene.
It sounds about right.
It was so bad, and so many unrunnables. It's made it even worse. Oh,
Well, that encounter table was one of the things that we were talking about. Certainly, as the seed got started, as everybody was finding all of the lovely fun to begin with the rapidity of the encounters, and yeah, like you said, it just marched on from there.
yeah, I saw times rolling in, and I was like, and I'm just looking at this like, but how? It was,
Mhm.
yeah. I was just watching SRL right beside like my screen. I was like, holy cow, people.
Yep, I had just found Crown and killed Carrie when Shadow Walker finished, and I was like, well, all right, he did this first.
I was full clearing C with I think one orblet when he finished. So, and then I finished full clearing C, and then I full cleared Mirage and Sky, and then I went to Volcano and found my crown. And then because I was so just beyond over, I'm sure y'all saw how dumb I was just about when I didn't turn in my crown and almost did over without the key.
Oh yeah, we talked about it.
Uh-huh. You guys probably would have heard me yelling without me even in the broadcast booth right now. Somehow. Cause oh boy. And then I messed up my heals because I accidentally reset after getting them in the right place. That whole last 20, 30 minutes was just Danny on full tilt.
Just, I mean, your one loose is probably in an area you're always going to check. It was an ordeal. So the second loose, just a matter of which of the boxes that you have access to is it going to be in? Because of course it's the key.
My thing is, I've played so many of these. Normally, whatever you get kind of early, a lot of times that's where it is. I was like, well, I got the Oxyel early. Maybe it's there. Nope. Well, I got the Chime early, and now I've got the Cube. Maybe it's there. Nope. Wasn't there either. And by the time I got to Volcano, I was just like, oh, just please. Because if it hadn't been there and it had been in March, I might have cried.
All right, and with that, that wraps up the play-in race. Cyclone, nice enough to put the top 8 in with the finishing times there. So you gonna enjoy some time off, Danny, or you're going back to the organization mines, aren't you?
And now I just have to do all that and not race, so it's all good. I'm going back to planning. I'm going back to planning and putting together race crews and stuff that I'm good at. Although, I did call it today. I said I had dibs on last, so I mean, technically, I kind of got what I wanted.
We had a forfeit, doesn't count.
Darn it!
Well, I mean, you can still say you were the last finisher, though, if you'd like to embrace that trophy.
Hey, I've got no problem with that. Or one of our developers, Meridian, last year when OSB was, we always kind of finished around the bottom of the leaderboard, so we were Team Pace Car. I'm representing today, Meridian. I don't know where you at, but I'm representing Team Pace Car today.
You get your revenge in the co-op. Bring that team.
Oh, I can't wait for co-op. I'm like stupid giddy about co-op this summer. It's gonna be good.
All right, so Gouda, any final thoughts?
Well, I initially really liked these flags, and then today I really did not. So, I mean, it's really a flavor of the week type thing, I guess. But now I get to focus on having some fun with some new games, and enjoy some time away from the spring tournament madness, and hopefully get some more commentating in, and maybe some restreaming. So that should be fun. And I'd like to thank everybody who came out and watched this, and glad that I'm going to be able to go to bed a little early tonight.
Yeah, at least there's a silver lining to Jet Seeds. And Salty, any final thoughts?
I'd say thanks a lot to everyone for putting on this tournament. It's been a blast as always. Thanks to the restreamers, the trackers, everyone involved. It's honestly been great. And I'll see everyone next time.
All right, Danny, final thoughts?
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't 16 different kinds of shocked I made it this far anyway. I figured I was going to do real bad, so just getting this far was kind of cool. I'm like no pressure now for brackets. That's awesome. Like I said, I'm going back to the other stuff that I'm better at. But the seed, it would have been a little funner if I found the crown first, but that's okay. GG those who did much better than me today. We're moving on to brackets, and to all you guys who are not just on this channel but all our channels tonight that watches, like, our race crew is second to none. You guys are amazing. You have been kicking all kinds of butt for weeks now and constantly showing up. We could not do any of these broadcasts without you guys, and I am all kinds of grateful for all of you guys. To all of you on crew, thank you so much. And the SG, they have been putting up with our shenanigans for weeks now and will continue to do so with brackets. So big thanks to them too. And yeah, I was hoping everyone else had fun tonight, because I kind of did.
All right, cool. And yeah, thanks again to Jonathan, Yoshi, and Avos for doing the tracking. Probably a pretty crazy night with a lot of items being found simultaneously, but no, you guys did a great job, so thanks again. And Karan, you want to take us home?
Certainly. Thank you, everybody, for joining us tonight for some more fun Final Fantasy I Randomizer. We, of course, now have the bracket round set, so everybody get ready. We're going to have some really interesting flags. We're going to have the top-tier competition in place. It is going to be a fantastic ride, and I hope you guys will join us again on any of your local randomizer stations. So thank you guys, everybody. Thank you all for coming out. Thank you to Edge joining me in the commentary booth, to the trackers and restreamers as well, and to all of you who are here to cheer us all on. Make sure to follow your runners, your trackers, and those of us folks in the commentary booth. Have a great rest of your evening, and hopefully we will see y'all later.